So none of you sent this letter?
How's this for a hypothesis?
Cade types the letter himself, takes the train down to the village and posts it.
All in a cynical bid to ensnare Virginia.
Rubbish. I was having tea with them yesterday morning at the Lion's Corner house on the Edgware Road. And it was very nice.
Mr. Lomax, your room is second from the end, isn't it?
So?
There was a light on there last night, just before the alarm sounded.
Rubbish. Says who? Oh, Cade. Blatant attempt to put you off your game, Inspector.
Anthony.
I told you. I'm not worth the sacrifice.
I was the dread of that, thank you very much.
If you would be so good as to remain at Chimneys until further notice.
What about him? You're not going to let him wander about?
Oh, we'll keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on all of you.
Perverse. He was such a musical fellow. Quite a dancer.
You know, I always say the point of a tune is to boost the morale, surely.
Indeed.
May I help? Ah, Treadwell, the very man. Where's that musical handbook of Virginia's? You know the one? Hits of the place? Ah, the very Nelly. Come.
Oh, no. No, oh.
Hard at it, Miss Marple.
Inspector, it's, I'm a little lost. One can hardly see where one bar ends and the next begins. I'm sorry, forgive me.
It's
hardly music at all. I
Could it
almost
be-
want... Oh, forgive me.
Go on.
Oh, well, I wonder, is it possible it is in fact a message of some sort in code?
One has tried to be patient where one can to turn What were you thinking of? You know nothing about the man or his people?
I know he's funny and reckless, and his mother has a jolly nice bicycle. Which I happen to think counts more than a dozen columns in Who's Who. He ran a bar.
Oh, how philanthropic.
In Africa. He had a friend with him. They were business partners.
And does this friend have a name?
Jimmy McGrath. They did rather well. For a time. But Jimmy liked to drink, you see. He gambled it all away. Lost it all in one sitting to a gentleman from Pretoria.
You've known him for less than a fortnight.
Daddy.
Ah, Caterham, knock some sense into your daughter.
Oh, well, it's a brave man who dared to.
What would your mother have said?
My mother, you presume to speak about, always went with her heart. Isn't that so? And she raised me to do the same.
Virginia!
Anthony is no murderer!
What's she doing?
Trying to prove her lover innocent.
How does she propose to do that?
I have no idea.
Like it or not, Mr. Cade was still there in the tunnel with a smoking gun.
Will you arrest him?
I'm tempted. He's careless. All the lies he tells. The letter, that business with the light on in the house. A man like Cade requires plenty of rope. Like most of us. Even you.
Am I under suspicion?
I know your secret, Miss Marple. You are a puzzle after of mysteries.
I muddle through one or two. It's a matter of association, really.
I envy you, the amateur sleuth. One has nothing to lose somehow. Still, a salary is convenient.
Indeed. If it wasn't for the generosity of my nephew, Raymond...
Raymond, so I've read in a dozen case files.
Yes. Hardly a distinguished name.
Raymond?
No, Chimneys. Until it stands before one, and then it all makes sense. Dozens of them. Splendid That great tower standing proud, so that... Which was the window Mr. Cade said was lit up on the night of the murder? Second from the right?
The MP's room.
Yes, and yet, as one approaches the spot where Mr. Cade stood, a window is obscured. Do you see?
On account of the tower.
So that what appears to be second from the right is, in fact...
Third from the right. So, who was up and about moments before the gunshot? At 33 minutes past 11, your bedroom light was on, 12 minutes before the gunshot.
Yes, briefly.
Can you tell me why?
I wished to speak to Count Ludwig, but noticing his bed was unoccupied, I returned to my room.
Any particular reason for wishing to speak to him?
Oh, earlier in the evening he'd asked for an extra blanket.
So perhaps you lit a fire?
I beg your pardon?
At the same time, 11:33.
No fires last night. I would have known, you see.
You know, it's funny, but yesterday I really felt that you knew him. This looks a very grand affair.
That's how they did it in those days.
And this would be the orchestra at the back here? What sort of music did they play?
Waltzes, mainly.
Viennese waltzes? It's him, isn't it? There, Count Ludwig. So he has been here before. And where else but in the orchestra? What brought you back after all these years?
Any thoughts, Miss Treadwell?
He got no more than he deserved.
I'm sorry?
The girl
Who disappeared?
Agnes.
The parlour maid, yes. Whatever happened to Agnes?
That night after the party, I saw a light. This was the tomb I saw opened. Her body, it was down there.
Let me help you.
Clement, are you sure?
Agnes. Her apron.
Poor child.
All this time, you said she was the thief.
I think it's time you told us what happened.
The mistress, she confided in me once.
Madeline?
What did she tell you?
She said Agnes was with him that night.
With whom?
A musician, a fiddle player.
Oh, the Count.
All these years, not a word.
I wanted to, sir.